Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas, and today I have with me Eran Shirazi. I think I got close. I was practicing before.
Perfect. It was perfect.
Oh, awesome. Co-founder and CTO at EasySend, an insurtech out of Tel Aviv. Very active here in the States, though. Eran, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And my pleasure. We always give the guest a chance to give the elevator pitch. So what is EasySend?
All right, cool. So first, like some background information. So startup company, like you said, our headquarters, we started in Tel Aviv, Israel, but we have offices in the States, in Japan, in Australia, and also in Frankfurt, Germany. So kind of like expanding. We've been running since 2016, and I think EasySend is like one of these companies where the idea really came to us. So my two co-founders actually worked for an insurance company in Israel, and the reason they kind of got really frustrated is they just handle a lot of paperwork. So they were in sales and in customer service departments, and they were just seeing how bad is it for the end user. You know, people want to get some money back from investments they did or submit a claim. And usually these forms end up missing one signature. So you have to call them back. And, you know, it happens to be a very painful process, by the way, both for the insured and for the insurance carrier. So everybody is suffering. And that was like kind of like the trigger. And actually the place they started working with ended up to be our first customer. So kind of like these stories that we kind of grew into it. And the idea is basically we try to take these forms, and instead of just taking the same paper form that you would naturally fill and sign for submitting a claim or joining a new insurance policy, and to try and replace it with a nicer, more beautiful look and feel, something that's more modern. And I think it especially becomes relevant where today there's a lot of insurtech companies, and the entire market is going through a big digital revolution. And I think the big companies, they have amazing insurance products, probably the best in the market, but still they have a hard time taking this leap to digital. And we try to be this magic tool that, without writing a single line of code, you can just turn your experiences into modern ones, but still keep your existing products, your existing processes, and make sure you deliver the amazing products you have using a more modern way to your end users. And
okay,
kind of like stay relevant. That's how it is basically.
Okay, so the promise basically is we don't have to write any code to fit it to our process, but we can keep our process. The tool is flexible enough to play with whatever our process is. Okay.
Right, exactly. I mean, for example, you'll be able to just say, you know, I want to submit a claim for my auto, and then instead of having to fill this form, you can kind of like go to our platform. We have this tool called the EasySend Builder, and say, okay, for a car claim, I need to ask you this and this questions. And I'll need to ask you 5 more questions if you answer this question, yes. And then you build this logic very simply and very naturally without really having to understand the technology behind it, which sometimes can be very complicated, or maybe understand the security requirements that we have to go through to make sure that this process of data collection is secure to the standards of a large insurance carrier. But eventually, the data flows into the same core insurance system. We don't try to replace anything in the way this insurance policy is handled by the company. It's just a better way to provide a nicer experience for the end user, and also being way more efficient in creating this process instead of doing it with IT, an expert team that have to code everything on the back end, on the front end, and take all the security considerations. So that's kind of like the main idea.
Okay. Is it, do you work only with insurance carriers, or do you also work with brokers and agents?
No, so brokers or agents are also using our platform a lot. And sometimes this is even more complicated because they have to work with multiple insurance carriers, right? So they have to create processes that are more generic and fit all the requirements of every insurance carrier. But we've had a lot of success with insurance brokers and agents as well. So
okay.
this is,
Fantastic. So what does the process look like? So if one of the listeners, let's say at a medium-sized carrier here in the States, they're like, this is fantastic, we could definitely use this. What does the process look like to engage with you guys, and how long does it take to get it set up? Do their systems have to be API ready? I'm kind of throwing a lot of questions, but what is the implementation?
And all of these are honestly great questions. Like this is a lot of things that you have to take into consideration. So the good news is, first of all, in terms of like setting it up to work for you, so EasySend is a fully hosted SaaS solution. So you don't have to get any infrastructure or servers or something set up in your premise. So that makes things much faster. I think the way we like to think about it is you can go through a gradual process. So generally, we would recommend starting with something relatively simple and try to build up the integrations and the more deep system communication as we go at a later stage. So for example, if you have a process that allows people to kind of like fill in information for joining a new life insurance policy. And for this process, it's currently done by filling up a lot of papers. So the first thing we'll recommend, let's just replace the paper-based process with a more modern look and feel. And we can actually generate the same paper document for you as a PDF document. And if you don't want to do any integrations, we can even email it for you to the same place that you'll get it for your customer service center and process it the same way. And then we also have a very strong integration layer that allows you to, like you said, communicate with the organizational API or trigger database calls, or we have out-of-the-box integrations for many products. Say, for example, let's say you're using Salesforce, so you can download our app and get all the information to flow directly to Salesforce. And same goes for Guidewire and a lot of other products that many insurance carriers and brokers use. But the idea is to not try to make a big change at once, because I think it's really hard to adapt that way. So the first step would be, let's provide a better interface for your end user, so they'll be more happy and satisfied with the way they interact with you and fill in these information fields. We'll also be able to earn for free a lot of validation capabilities. So the back and forth process of, hey, you missed one field here, there's an additional signature required here, doesn't have to happen anymore, because you can make sure that when you submit it, all the data and all the fields that have to be captured are validated. So that's also something you can do without any integration at first. And then as you want to make the process more and more automatic, we can make things much more automatic. So you can be up and running. The fastest we had in the history of the company was a week, but more like, I would say, on the average case, it can take a few weeks, maybe a month, to get up and running with the first use case. That's kind of
a month is lightning fast in our industry.
Right, but this is assuming you can come with the state of mind, hey, I want to get this up and running. I have this big project of submitting an insurance claim, and I want to provide a better experience for my end users. And if you really want to do it fast and efficiently, we have the tools for you to do that.
what is the pricing model like? Is it a monthly subscription, or is it by the submission? Is there a setup cost? What does that look like?
So yeah, we try to keep it a bit like as simple as possible. So similar to many other solutions out there, we try to just be based on the number of transactions. So as you use it, you'll pay more. But yeah, there is some kind of minimum, so we can ensure that, because usually these projects are also accompanied by our team. We really want to make sure that when we start working together, it really works. And these companies are not small companies, so we have to kind of like we want to be there to make sure this is a success and you get value for your money. So yeah, there is some minimum depending on your use case and requirements, but I think we like transactions because everybody knows it. It's similar to how many other services work, and also it's kind of like you pay only if you win, right? You pay only if you use it, so it's less of a risk.
Okay, so there's no real long-term commitment to try it out.
Yeah, you can try it out with even like for a few months, and then usually when you get more traction and you want to get to the next level, we'll do the more longer term contracts, sometimes for a year, sometimes for multiple years. Also happens.
Awesome. Any great client success stories, like maybe your favorite story of this really making a difference for the client?
Yeah, I can tell you that, for example, one of our first customers we started with in the States was NJM, an insurance carrier based in New Jersey. And I think for them, we took a very kind of like simple process they've done with a lot of manual work. And usually the way they think about these projects is, I think they were surprised of how quickly you can turn around and make things digital. And in a few weeks, they were up and running with this new integration and saved a ton of work for both their agents and their customer service representatives. And best of all, their end users got a much better experience. So I think that's a great example. And I can tell you that there are also some other companies. Some of them I can't just specifically name because this is kind of like more going into their sensitive processes. But we also have a lot of tools that will allow you to improve your processes and make sure the conversion rate increases. So as a digital, like a fully digital process, it's much easier to have visibility on how people use your product and what's their challenges, where are they getting stuck. So we have a lot of good tools to help you with that. And we've seen conversion rates that went up from only a few percentages before we were involved with the process to higher than 50%. So this is also amazing. This is a huge business enabler. So we're very proud of that.
Fantastic. And I well, the numbers you can't argue with, like that kind of changing in conversion, that's amazing. That's a game changer. But I love the story with NJ and with
NJM, yeah.
NJM, because I know them. They're a small regional carrier.
Right.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they used to be like the WorkCom carrier for New Jersey, and then they expanded to
exactly. And right? Now I think they're, if I'm not mistaken, they're one of the like top 40 carriers in the States. So they're getting bigger and bigger, and that's like
so but they're a great. I think a lot of my listenership works for that type of company, that medium-sized
awesome.
company that's very good at what they do, generally very old and very traditional. So they're not Geico Progressive, like they're not tech focused, so the fact
but
that
still that they have amazing insurance products.
Exactly.
And they just need to take it to one step forward. And I think once they decided to do it, they saw like the potential of how big this can be and how impactful it could be for the organization. So that's what I really liked.
Exactly.
And coming to the US from like we just started back then, and they were one of our first customers in the States, and there's this Israeli company, and what are they doing? And it was so simple and easy and like even I would say like fun for both sides that I really loved the process we went through with them.
That's a fantastic story. If
Thank you.
If it works for a company like NJM, it can work for just about any carrier here in the States. So yeah, I really can't.
So we're in the right business.
Yes, I really can't give a better endorsement than that. So,
thank you.
So thank you so much for that. I think that's all I got. Great to learn about this. Amazing how tools that deal with a small part of the insurance process can make a huge difference. Because I think you put it in a great way. It's not that we have bad products. We have great companies with great products. They've been doing this forever, and they generally
like,
don't have
a
the
lot
tools.
of these insurance companies, they started like 200 years ago when a group of farmers joined up together to kind of like protect each other's like and it's amazing. Like these products were perfected for hundreds of years, and they work. You can't argue with that, but you just have to freshen up a bit the experience. And it's hard. A medium-sized insurance company may have 5 or 6 different products they work with, and for each and every one of them they want to be able to offer you to perform like maybe 10 digital things, updating something or submitting a claim or extending for another year. So you end up with hundreds of processes you need to take care of, and with the traditional tools it's just hard to do that. And not only it's hard to build the digital experience, but maintaining it over time is a pain. So for example, whenever you have to go through an update and update the code behind one of these things, a lot of the times you have to do an additional security checkup and pen test, because it's people's life and money that you're handling. So when you use a no-code platform or a low-code platform to do that, you kind of like you can take the first step and really do a deep dive into the security aspects of the platform. But then doing the updates, if regulation changes or you just want to try something new, you don't have to go through this process again and again. So it's much lighter to work with.
Awesome. Yeah, Eran, thank you very much for your time. It's been great. When the episode goes live, I will tag you and EasySend on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks a lot for your time. It was amazing.